the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement. Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Malulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the culture. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
If you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
It's your way to bet against both teams.
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
Here we go. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I hope you had a great sports equinox night last night. I know I did. The Dodgers and the Blue Jays decided they should play 2 games to match every other professional league yesterday. But a lot of fun. It was a good winning day for us here at Sports by the Book. Myself and Ryan McCormick each went 3-1. Really close to sweeping the board because we did have some plays we liked that we left off. But we're going to try to do that again here for you today. Thanks for joining us. Alex White, Ryan McCormick, as I mentioned. And on Tuesdays, we bring in Matt Neverett. So a bonus day here for you. He'll give some picks as well. We got to start with baseball. Well, let's say baseball because we're actually going to break down Game 4 as well. Let's start with NFL. The Chiefs, they look like they really turned the corner here. Dominant win. Ryan liked the Chiefs yesterday, laying the 10.5 or 11 against the Commanders. And it was pretty easy in the second half.
Well, that's a line, especially that move with the Jaden Daniels news. Not having him shows how big of an impact that makes. Nothing against Marcus Mariota, who may have had the worst hurdle attempt on a run I think I've ever seen in the NFL. God bless him in his 11th year. And that's kind of what we expected, right? Steve Spagnuolo finally kind of flexing that muscle on the defensive side of the ball. And that's the Chiefs that we're expecting. And I think turning the corner, as you had put it, a really good way to start to summarize the Chiefs right now. Started out 0-2, doom and gloom, bah humbug, and then all of a sudden ripping off 5 wins in their next 6 games following.
And Chris Andrews, he started up the season. He said there might be a Super Bowl hangover finally for this Chiefs team. He turned quickly after week 3 or 4. They have been his number 1 team. I'll just say it now. We give out our top 10s on Wednesday for our NFL, but they are my number 1 team as well, have jumped over the Lions and the Bills and some of these other teams.
And like right now, they're kind of equivalent to me of Alabama at the college level. May have started a bit slow by their standards especially, but the single hottest teams in both the NFL and college football right now, the Chiefs and Alabama, and the more things change, the more they stay the same with those two on top, right?
Yeah, that's very true. Well, the SEC very competitive. We're going to get to our top 10, so thank you. That's a good tease. We will give our updated top 10 for college football. Looking ahead to the week, myself and Chris Andrews' top 10 every Tuesday here on Sports by the Book. Ryan, overall, very good day. You went with the Blues, though, in baseball, even though we both liked the over, which was pretty easy. Got there 11 runs in that one. But overall, very good day for all sports.
Yeah, almost had the 20-1 parlay for the Sports Equinox pay off with the Blue Jays last night, and they just didn't get the money line win last night. But last night, favorites, or the Chiefs, ended up covering all numbers against the Commanders, getting the NFL weekend to 11-2 straight up and against the spread, 9-2-2 on totals. NHL games yesterday, 2-0 for the home team, 9 total goals in each game. Both games end up going over. NBA yesterday, 11 games, 8-3 straight up and against the spread were the favorites.
Wow.
Totals went 7-4. And then you already made the joke of they played 2 baseball games yesterday. But yeah, 18 innings, and that one went over the total. Dodgers ended up winning 6-5.
Another joke for Ryan and I, because we do a lot of work handicapping all of these sports. Not so much NBA yet, Matt, but we were, we felt inclined to actually have a bet in the NBA. Threw a dart and 2-0. So maybe we should just skip all the other sports and focus on NBA
Throw
here.
some more darts. We
That's
could actually
right.
handicap some real darts. Go over to England.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I mean, it wasn't even just the 2 that we picked. It was the 4 games that we actually mentioned. We had the right sides and whatever we mentioned. It was pretty weird.
That's
Yeah.
one of those days when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail on those kind of days. Yeah.
That's right. Well, it was a very, very exciting baseball game. We saw a little bit of everything,
Oh, yeah.
and we got to get into it for Game 4 because not only did we see a little bit of everything, we saw a lot of pitchers. And both teams, the concern was their bullpens, and they were the highlight of the night, right?
Yeah, and that was really interesting, too, with kind of how they pointed it out on the broadcast, exactly like you had said. Those were the 2 weaknesses of these 2 teams. If there were weaknesses for these 2 teams that were league winners, it was the bullpens. And last night, they shined the brightest. I mean, Will Klein pitched against the Aviators this year in AAA. That's kind of where his season started, and he really hadn't pitched much, if at all, in this postseason, and let alone the World Series. And kind of shades of Nate Eovaldi from the 2018 series where the Red Sox and the Dodgers played the other 18-inning game. That's going to be his legacy. He could throw, he could win a World Series. He could do ABC, especially as a reliever. That game is going to be his legacy. And if the Dodgers lost, it is a hard-fought effort for not. But because he won, that's going to be the Will Klein game for the rest of his life.
Very good. Ryan, takeaways from that game. I know there was a lot of first and breaking records in that one. Is there anything you want to mention?
Well, I mean, yeah, Shohei Ohtani continues to add to the mantle of greatest baseball game ever played, with the 3 right at the top now. But just a kind of another note, Matt had mentioned that it would be the Will Klein game, but it also could have been the Eric Lauer game on the other side had the Blue Jays pulled it off. There were 19 total pitchers to make an appearance in this game in 18 innings. The starters, Max Scherzer went 4 1/3. Tyler Glasnow went 4 2/3. You then have, 10 Dodgers relievers come in, and Will Klein comes in, and then Will Klein pitches 4 innings. And then on the Blue Jays side, Scherzer started. You get 6 relievers, and then you get Eric Lauer come in, give you 4 2/3, and then you bring in Brad Little, who ended up getting the loss. But you're getting extended innings out of the bullpen, which you don't normally see. And so, yeah, just an added note of Eric Lauer went farther into the game, 4 2/3, than Max Scherzer did, 4 1/3.
Wow.
The game almost bookended by starts.
Yeah.
And it was crazy to see at the end, just, in the desperation scenarios at the end of that game, in the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th inning, what was going to be next if that game had gone to 19. We saw Yoshinobu Yamamoto warming up for the
Correct.
Dodgers a couple of days after going a complete game, and that would have earned him some real brownie points. And we saw Shane Bieber, who's going to start tonight for the Blue Jays, down in the bullpen. I think he was stretching, really didn't start warming up, but if he starts to throw, Ryan, you know as well as I do that kind of begs the question, would he be available tonight had he just warmed up? So those decisions, not only to bring a guy into the game, but to even send a starter out to the bullpen, really has ramifications the rest of the way throughout the series.
I want to ask you, because I did hear driving in today to work that they were questioning on why not Ohtani wouldn't have been next, but because he wasn't playing a position, could he have pitched?
He theoretically could have.
Okay.
They would have lost the designated hitter in that scenario. And with the empty bench and empty bullpen, they wouldn't have had a guy. They wouldn't have had anybody else to throw in there. So that would have created some really unique scenarios. And this is the first time in Major League history you've got your starting pitcher today who reached base 9 times in the day before. It's the 4th time in Major League history, regular or postseason, a guy has reached base 9 times. Ohtani in his last 7 at-bats, not plate appearances, but at-bats at Dodger Stadium. The 3 home run game, 4 extra base hits last night. 7 for 7 with 7 extra base hits in his last 7 at-bats in Dodger Stadium.
And then, of course, intentionally walked after that.
Which is the first time anyone's been intentionally walked 4 times in a postseason game ever.
Well, you wanted to exclude the plate appearances. He just reached base in 10 consecutive plate appearances in the postseason.
Insane.
It's
and
ridiculous.
He's the starting pitcher today, and the Dodgers are going to need at least 6 innings out of him.
Well, let's go into it. The game today, game 4, now the Dodgers up 2-1. Blue Jays, really punching back as much as they can against this Goliath here. Dodgers are a $2 favorite again in this one, 210, and the total's 8. I don't see how we don't bet the over again. Like you mentioned, they're going to want both of these starting pitchers to go as deep as they can, but once they come out of the game, everybody's seen everybody when it comes to the bullpens.
That's the big thing as well. Not just the tired arms and, the pitchers being used, but guys have seen them.
Yes.
That is a big thing. Eric Lauer faced off the lineup at least twice through. So the next time that they see him, everyone's had at least 2 or 3 at-bats in the last week against him. So I think that's huge. And if you want to play that line, one number on the board here at South Point right now, I like over 15.5 combined hits between the two sides. If you like that, it's going to be that kind of game where Shohei Ohtani goes 6 and gives up like 2 runs on 5 hits, and then you're going to have to expect the bullpens to blow it up. But if there's any 2 bullpens right now, really the only 2 that are left, but in the postseason, these are the 2 that you would want.
Matt, this is very hard to handicap because you say Ohtani's going to go 6, but how do we know? Because
he's going to have to.
When have we seen a guy play 18 innings, of course DH, and then start the next day?
And he had the cramping issue at second base as well. The thing is, the Dodgers need 6. I think if they can get 5 effective innings out of him, that'd be amazing. If they can get a quality start, 6 innings, 3 runs or less, that would be absolutely perfect, just what the doctor ordered. Who knows? Yamamoto might be warming up today. I think that they're going to have to lean on Blake Treinen heavily to cover at least 3 outs, if not more, if Shohei Ohtani does get you 5 innings. I think 5 is the minimum of what you can expect from Ohtani today.
Well, it's going to be very interesting. I mean, this is just a huge price when you got to lean to, maybe looking at first 5 with the Blue Jays with Shane Bieber because he did not play or even warm up yesterday, but got to be a little bit of an advantage there. I know Ohtani, we think he is superhuman, and maybe he is.
He's as close to it as it gets, but still.
Yeah, it's a tough ask. It really is.
He's got his limitations. And hey, real quick, I want to shout out my brother Kyle. He had 3 home run hitter bets in the game yesterday, parlayed them all just for fun as well. He had Teoscar Hernandez, he had Alejandro Kirk, and you bet he had Freddie Freeman as his third. It was like, I think 20 to win like $300. So congratulations to Kyle. He works at 6 a.m. in the morning, so he wasn't able to watch it, but he heard me from downstairs yelling with the Freddie Freeman home run.
Well, did he text you in who we're betting today? Because that's the important stuff.
I got to get that in. I will certainly send that in the group chat.
Ryan, how are you feeling about Toronto tonight? What's your take on this sidewise?
I'd love to get an update on George Springer. I know he was getting an MRI on his side, but we do want the viewers' thoughts. We do have a poll today, doubling down in Game 4 or on Game 4. Which batter will record another 2+ hit performance after a 2+ hit performance last night? So we went with Vlad Guerrero Jr. getting plus 243 over at DraftKings. These are all odds via DraftKings. The starting pitcher for the Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani, plus 295. Alejandro Kirk, plus 252. And Teoscar Hernandez, plus 297. So go ahead and get your votes in there. We'll get a second poll in there for you today as well, going with the Frozen Frenzy.
Yeah,
hard to get that one out, but yeah, we'll have a second one there for you. So, but getting to this game, I need to know what's going on with George Springer and that Blue Jays lineup, because I think the changes that they made last night really kind of shot themselves in the foot, not having the guys that they needed in situations that presented themselves throughout a 2-game played single game. So when we get closer to game time and I see the lineups, right now I'm leaning to Dodgers run line.
I like that, and I predicted a reverse sweep after the Blue Jays won Game 1, so I'm gonna stick to it. Dodgers in 5 right now, 3-2 at South Point. I feel like Dodgers in 6, probably the more likely scenario. It's plus 220.
Plus 220. I like that. I like your over hits because I was thinking if we were each kind of looking at guys over bases, but that kind of just wraps it all together. Does that make you concerned, George Springer, with even looking over 8?
Certainly.
I mean
if he plays at all, I like it even more. I like it even without him in the lineup because he's not necessarily the handicap. He adds to it a little bit if he's in, and he's not going to go unless he's going to be effective. But I like the handicap without it. I like that. So 46-13, that's the bet number. You got to lay 110 on each side. I like the over 15.5 hits in this game.
Over 15.5 hits. I think we're all in agreement, leaning that way. You two like the Dodgers. I like the Blue Jays. Andrew, what is that first 5 number there? I took Blue Jays plus half a run yesterday, first 5. Maybe I just go right back to it. Plus 175. Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah.
On the money line there, but that half a run, even though they did have the lead after 5.
And that's a line that's moved. It opened at plus 180.
Okay. Well, that's kind of just more or less betting on the fact that Ohtani might be a little fatigued here coming into this one, and we're expecting a lot out of him. And Shane Bieber should be nice and fresh, so just a little bit of an advantage there. Or Ohtani's just in the groove right now, and that is what it is definitely looking like, especially at the plate. But should be a good one. It's been a really good World Series already.
Yeah.
And good postseason.
Really fun overall. This is exactly what the doctor ordered if you're Dr. Manfred.
That's right. I did need that. Yeah.
So we had brought up the poll, and I kind of just want to make the point. Shohei Ohtani to record 2+ hits in this game is almost $3 on DraftKings. Are we just assuming that the Blue Jays are not going to let him see another pitch in the strike zone? They're just going to walk him in every at-bat going forward?
That's tough. I mean, the situations where he was walked last night also are important. It's not just, we can't throw to him, let's put him on. You got to consider he's got an MVP coming up behind him in Mookie Betts, MVP coming up behind him in Freddie Freeman, who ended up winning the game. The other thing, too, I saw a note that he's the first player to be intentionally walked multiple times with the bases empty in a World Series game. The only other players to have had that happen to them are Barry Bonds and Alex Rodriguez in 2003. I mean, it is insane just historically the context of what's being done here. And, I wouldn't have pitched to him either. It was the right call. That's the crazy thing.
Absolutely.
You very rarely find a situation where in baseball, and especially when it comes to the intentional walk for whatever reason, to where every single person on the planet, no matter who you're rooting for, is like, that's the right call. I'm not going to throw to him here. And even when they didn't intentionally walk him at the end, I don't think there was a pitch within 5 feet of the strike zone. They were just hoping he was going to flail at something.
It'll be interesting. Well, I'm excited for this one tonight. And, of course, it was Freddie Freeman, though.
Of course.
He had a few hits that were very close, didn't he?
He did. Will Smith almost had the home run earlier.
Yes.
And, it's a year and 2 days removed from that game-winning walk-off grand slam for Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
He's the first person to ever have a walk-off grand slam and an 18th-inning walk-off home run in postseason history, let alone World Series history. And the note that I saw, keep this in mind, they repeated it throughout the broadcast last night, so if you're watching on TV, in the World Series matchup, with the series tied at 1, whoever wins Game 3 has won the World Series 70% of the time. That game was huge for the momentum, and it was magnified even more because it went 18 innings.
Well, it looks like Ryan's thinking that way, too, because he's been rooting for the Blue Jays, thinking they have a shot, but it looks like he likes the Dodgers to keep that momentum.
Come on over.
Yeah.
Come on over, Ryan. Let's go.
No, I've thought this was the Dodgers series the entire time, just rooting against evil LA.
I've got the vested interest, otherwise I wouldn't care.
Well, and we've heard it a lot, too. The Blue Jays, what are their payroll? It's not like they're not at the bottom. They're like
they're
fourth
not small
or fifth.
market scrounging
they're both
by.
top 5.
Yeah. So it's paid off.
If you're going to come after the Dodgers, come after the Mets. They had a higher payroll, and they suck this year.
The Mets missed the playoffs, so we don't have to go after them. All right, we got 2 college football games on tap tonight as well. Let's break those down a little bit, and then we'll take a break. Come back, we'll go through our top 10. We also are going to run through NFL Week 9 updated lines for you, kind of quickly go through those and any thoughts or plays in case we see those lines moving. We'll try and talk about players that are out going into the week as well. But starting off here with the Conference USA, we had a couple of those last week with you, Matt, too. But tonight, Kennesaw State they have won 5 in a row coming into this one, taking on UTEP. So let's break this one down. It's a pretty big spread here, 10-point favorite, total 52. Did you look into this one at all?
Not as much. UTEP's a mess. I mean, with Malachi Nelson, what happened to him? He went from being the former #1 recruit in his class at USC, and then at Boise State, it was just kind of assumed that he had been beaten out by Maddox Madsen in training camp. That happens.
Right.
And then he transferred to UTEP, and that was kind of an interesting decision for a lot of folks, and then gets benched there. I mean, talk about a fall from grace for a guy who was the best recruit, position or otherwise, in his class. So I really don't know what to make of this UTEP team. Kennesaw State coming on really strong. They score a ton. They burned me last week with how much they scored. I got no play on this one, but if you're going to throw something on this, I like the over. I think UTEP will find a way to score some points playing on the road. Kennesaw State, a high-powered offensive team. So it's over or nothing. I got no play on this one.
The only thing I would push back on the over a little bit. Well, one, I made it a little bit lower here. But also UTEP, as much as they've struggled offensively, and you mentioned it with Malachi Nelson and then Skylar Locklear, I think Skylar Locklear is getting the start here, kind of won that job and played well against Sam Houston, where they did finally get a win there. But their defense has been pretty good. So if they can slow down Kennesaw State's offense at all, I think we could see under in this one. But I lean to the points. I think that's just a little bit too high. Kennesaw State, I mean, they're one of the worst FBS teams last year, and a really good turnaround, but still to be laying 10, I think that's just a little aggressive. So a little bit of a lean to the dog there, getting the points. Let's go to the next one here, though. And I know you have a play, so I'm going to let you start us off with James Madison. They just got their 6th win of the year, looking very good, undefeated in conference play so far. Texas State have been, they've gone through some heartbreaks the last 3 weeks, 3 that they really could have won. Now they've lost 3 in a row coming into this one, but they are at home catching 7, total 56.
Yeah, generally speaking, I like a conference opponent catching 7 at home, especially in a somewhat evenly contested matchup. You know, I liked that angle of it, especially if you can get the full touchdown instead of catching 6 in the hook, you get the full 7. But the more I looked into this one, Alex, even from when I arrived in the studio today, the more I like the under. It's at 57 when the sheet was published. I'm looking at it right now. It is down to 56. So if you want to get in on this one, get in on it soon. I still like it at 56. James Madison comes in hot. They're allowing just 15.5 points per game this year. And over the last 5 games, they've given up just 71 points. They've also gone under in 5 of their last 6. Total's gone under in 4 of the last 5 for Texas State. They are struggling. I think it's a close game. Typically in a close game in conference play, you like the defensive angle. I like under 56, and this is one that opened at like 60. So this is one that is cratering downward. So if it gets under 55, that's kind of where my hard stop is. But I like this one under. James Madison especially has been outstanding defensively. Texas State defense is top 100 in the nation, but not the best. James Madison has one of the top 10 rushing offenses in the country as well. So I think if they do get an early lead, they're going to limit the possessions, wind some clock. I like Texas State. That's a lean to cover the 7, but my real play is going to be under, especially if you can get it above 55 in this one.
Very good. I'm going with the points here. So I do like the under and I like the dog. So keeping it close and trying to grind it out here. Both quarterbacks can run too, so they will utilize that. Pretty impressive. Brad Jackson completing 70% of his passes, quarterback for Texas State. 8 rushing touchdowns for him, 9-2 ratio passing to interceptions. And Alonzo Barnett on the other side, pretty much the same, 9-2 ratio and 9 rushing touchdowns. He's got over 1,200 passing yards on the year too. So I do think it'll be closer than what this line indicates. So
and typically in a game like that where you got 2 quarterbacks that A, like to run, and B, do a good job at taking care of the ball, you're not going to present the other team with too many short fields. I think there's going to be some long drives to sustain clock-killing drives in this game. Part of the reason that I like it under. It sounds like we're kind of on the same side here.
I agree, yes. Especially a little bit of a bend, but don't break for the defenses, too. So
a lot of yards, not a lot of points.
That's right.
Exactly on paper.
We'll see if that can hold up here in this one. I'm going to take the dog, though. You're going to go with the under.
I'm on under.
Hoping that they both stay low. Ryan, anything for you in the Sun Belt or CUSA for tonight for either of those games?
Just a note on this second one, the Sun Belt game between James Madison and Texas State. So Texas State, Alex had mentioned that they had 3 heartbreaks in a row. So they had their bye week to end September and then faced Arkansas State on the 4th, Troy on the 11th and at Marshall on the 18th. They lost by 1 at Arkansas State. They lost by 7 in overtime at Troy. They lost by 3 in double overtime last week at Marshall. James Madison is 4-0 in conference, is going to end this game on a win streak, just blew out ODU. Texas State, I tend to think, is going to have a lot of fight in this game and going to be keeping it close or doing their best to be playing catch up and keeping it close. So I do think this is one that James Madison will be up and be leading for the majority, but Texas State will keep close, kind of like you guys were saying. The only thing I would caution to the over is those overtime games. If it is close and is a 28-28 game, that puts it right at 56. So
they don't call it undertime.
Yeah.
So you're saying first half.
I like that angle. I like that angle a lot.
Which is important, so you can avoid those overtime. But yeah, Brian, to your point, I mean, James Madison might be a little fat and happy because people were talking about Old Dominion, how good they have been and maybe could compete in this conference, and they put a whooping on them, 63-27.
And I know your dad has made a point of getting to bowl eligible, getting that 6th win of the year. You might have a little hangover. I know James Madison has kind of made it an every year thing of getting to a bowl game, and this might not be a hangover spot, but these are still college kids, and they are, 22 years old. So
yeah, now they're like 23, 24 nowadays.
so.
I agree, though. I think we give them a little bit too much credit. Like, oh, they're used to doing that, but at the same time, that they subconsciously are happy. Okay, we checked that off. 6 games, got to a bowl. What's next? Texas State lost 3 in a row. We've got this easy.
And those 3 games that Texas State lost are against 3 of the top 5 teams in the Sun Belt as well, and perennial powers. So those aren't any slouches, games that they really should have won or lost. Those are tight games that just didn't fall their way. Like I said, I like the under. I actually really like your angle of the first half, Ryan.
There you go. That is for our 2 college football games tonight. Let's take a quick 1-minute break. On the other side, we're going to give mine and Chris Andrews' top 10 for college football, and then we're going to look into week 9 of the NFL. We'll be right back.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for being with us on a Tuesday. Sports by the Book, live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. Alex Way, Ryan McCormick, and Matt Neverett here with you. We are going to hit as many hockey games as we can. All 3 of us have a few plays for you that we really like for the Frozen Frenzy tonight. But if you want to make sure we touch on a game, please put it in the chat so we will actually go into more detail for those games because we each picked about 3. That leaves some of them off the board. So just in case, if you have your team or just we're curious, we got some really good matchups tonight that I'm looking forward to. So we will get to hockey. That is the last 20 minutes of the show. I don't want to put a timestamp on here because we never know how long we're going to go on a Tuesday, but that's okay. It's a lot of fun. All right, Ryan's going to start us off. We're going to give Chris Andrews updated college football here. Make sure you follow him on X because every Friday after he puts in his bets for the Westgate inaugural college football contest, he actually tweets them out. So please give him a follow too. But let's look at Chris's top 10 for this week in college football.
Yeah, so Sports Gambling Hall of Famer, our fearless leader here at the South Point director of Racing Sports, Chris Andrews. His top 10 power-rated teams in college football is led by number 1, Ohio State, undefeated. They've been every bit the best team in the country this year, and they've been the mainstay at Chris's number 1. Pretty sure every single week so far this year. Indiana jumps up from 3 to back to number 2 from taking a week gap with Notre Dame jumping them last week. But Notre Dame and them flip here. So Ohio State, Indiana, Notre Dame, 1, 2, 3. Oregon jumps up to 4. Alabama falls to 5. Miami jumps to 6. Georgia and Texas Tech both slip down to 7 and 8 respectively. Still very high on Texas Tech, though, is Chris Andrews. At 9 is Texas A&M, one of the only other undefeated teams remaining in the country. And then rounding out his top 10 is a team that's in the 20 in the AP or 24 in the AP poll, the Utah Utes.
And this is interesting. I didn't think it'd be fair to start giving out my top 10 because I haven't been tracking them the whole season. I've got some integrity, believe it or not, when it comes to my top 10 rankings only. But I would love to ask Chris about a couple of these. He's a lot lower on Texas A&M than some folks. He's a lot higher on both Notre Dame and Oregon. And then Utah in the top 10. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a lot of other folks who would have Oregon power rated as their top 10. I think this just underscores the difference between AP rankings and power ratings. And I'm big on Utah as well. I think the Utes are great. Kyle Whittingham is one of the best in the country as far as establishing a culture and getting guys to stay there for multiple years. So I think that plays into it. It's interesting, and I'd be interested to see where he would rate Utah on a neutral field against a team like Georgia. I'd give them a big-time advantage. I think that a couple of teams that are missing, and it's, again, season-long tracked, power ratings, Ole Miss, Georgia Tech, Vanderbilt. Those are the 3 teams that I think might be able to crack the top 10 next week with the right results for Chris.
I might have to pull up my dad's power ratings here, too, to compare his. But you just asked Georgia and Utah on a neutral. I'd have the Bulldogs 1.
Interesting. So you're big on Utah as well, although I can see a little preview. They're not in your top 10.
No, they're not, but they are actually 11th.
Interesting. Okay.
So, and really them and Ole Miss, it's a 0.2 difference. So it could have been up there instead of the Rebels.
Utah, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, Dampier.
I like them a
very
lot.
good, yeah. And did you see what they did to Colorado last week?
Yeah, that's the big one as well.
So they covered.
When they win, they win.
They had to get a nice little bump there. But all right, we'll go to my top 10 now. So Ryan kind of showed the changes in Chris's from last week, but ultimately, Ryan, were they all the same top 10?
For the most part, yeah. A couple teams, I think really only USC.
And Utah?
Well, I think it was USC and LSU that fell out of the top 10.
And A&M. I don't know if he had them in there just yet.
He did not last week. I do remember having issue with that last week.
Yes. Okay. So a couple changes for me too, which, he was on Indiana. He bumped them up a lot sooner than me, but still number 1 is Ohio State. So you brought up Bama. They're close, but I think it's still Ohio State right now, the defending champions, and they have been number 1 for quite some time now. We see those 2 play each other. It should be an interesting one here. Indiana does make it to number 2 for me now this week. They were 5th last week. They've just proved a lot, right? And winning by margin. So Cignetti's really got his team playing good, and I think they are a serious contender. Oregon bumps back up to 3 for me, just barely. And Bama goes from 2 to 4. Survived one against South Carolina last week. And I don't want to take too much from that because they did beat 4 ranked teams going into that game. It was definitely a bad spot for them, but still had to take them down at least a point in that one. Notre Dame, number 5, moved from 7 to 5 for me. And then A&M jumps up. I had them 9th last week. Now they're up to 6th. They proved a lot. I did have LSU 10 last week. I thought it was going to be a little bit of a closer game, but that second half, Mike Elko, I mean, he made the adjustments, and he's one of the main reasons Brian Kelly does not have his job there at LSU now.
Couldn't have happened to a better guy.
In a crazy time for the SEC with a lot of coaches on the hot seat, I think College Station and everybody over there is very happy to have Mike Elko.
How about the job openings right now for head coaching in college football? You've got a literal who's who of some of the best programs in the country. You know, Marcus Freeman has already said he's turned down even potential offers from Florida State and Penn State. You got Arkansas. You've got some of the top jobs in college football open right now. This is going to be a carousel from the head coaching spot in this offseason. I think it's interesting, too, just taking a look at your guys' power rankings, where you both have Indiana second. It kind of underscores the difference not only between the rankings and the power ratings for you guys, but just looking at the top 25 and the coaches poll.
Yeah.
Indiana got 11 first-place votes in the AP poll. Coaches poll, they got a whopping 0, but they're still in second with Texas A&M getting some first-place votes over them.
Did they?
Yeah, so it's kind of a pros versus Joes, so to speak, on the opinion on the Hoosiers. I think it's, until they show me that they're not, they're right there in second behind Ohio State in my mind.
It will be interesting, though, because, of course, Big Ten against SEC, and we saw Ohio State versus Texas, but that wasn't the Ohio State we see now, who've just gotten better every week, and that wasn't really Texas, so found a way to get the win last week. We'll see if they can kind of move on from that or, grow from that. They got Vandy this week. That'll be a huge matchup to see if they turn the corner and if Arch is even healthy in that game. So
that's a big prove-it game.
So it'll be interesting. Those two conferences, I'd like to see them line up together. Really quick through those 7, Miami drops from 3, even though they did turn it on in the second half of that game against Stanford, too. Texas Tech stays at 8. Georgia, 9. They dropped down from 6 to 9. I think that's a better spot for this Georgia Bulldogs team, actually. And then number 10, as I mentioned, Mississippi, right there. Big win for them on the road. Ryan called that one. He liked that second spot there for Trinidad, second road game. And then 11, Utah, right there behind Ole Miss.
Wow.
So that is my top 10. As you can see, Big Ten right there at the top, but then a lot of SEC sprinkled throughout. Notre Dame still in there. We'll see if they still find themselves in the playoffs. They've got to win out here and need some help, but definitely a top 10 team in the country.
And Texas Tech, a team that's just kind of quietly been in there. All of a sudden, here come the Red Raiders almost out of nowhere.
I'm interested to see if they're going to get their starting quarterback back, because they do have a big week coming up. And not that I don't think Will Hammond is a good quarterback too, but just not quite at the same level. Who do they have this week?
Right now they're laying 8 at Kansas State, game that kicked off at 12:30 Pacific. Total of 53 in that one. That'll be interesting. I think if they can blow out a team like Kansas State, they may crack your top 5.
Kansas State, though, they're kind of the second half of the season, turning it on to where we thought they would be, because they were a favorite to win the Big 12. Now they're playing a lot better. They just crushed the Jayhawks last week. They did have their number. Bruce Marshall told us they'd won every game since like 2008.
Oh, wow.
Against Kansas.
8's a tough number. 8 is a tough number to lay on the road with Texas Tech.
Well, you're right, Matt, because the bettors already took it. Looks like it's down to 7 here at the South Point. But we'll get into some more of those games throughout the week. Bruce Marshall actually joins us tomorrow, and we'll look ahead to some college football games. But now we got to switch over to the NFL.
I'm ready.
Week 9. I can't believe it. This football season's flying by, but we got to start off with the Thursday game. The Ravens and the Dolphins both got a much-needed win. Both of them have 2 wins now on the season, not quite to the standards of either of these organizations or where they thought they would be, but both of them need this one. The Ravens are laying 7.5 on the road. Still don't know if Lamar Jackson is definitely playing, but he was practicing all last week. I would imagine he would. Total 50.5. Either of you have an opinion or early bets on this one?
I like over. This is going to be a play for me on the over. It opened at 50. Looks like it is still there. 50.5 here at South Point. Definitely jump on that number earlier in the week. Found a couple of stats that really backed this one up. Miami at home, despite their struggles all year long, they've been great on the offensive side of the ball. They're averaging 27 points per game at home. They're also top 10 in yards per play at home. In their last 8 home games, they have scored 27 or more points. The over has hit in the last 9 Dolphins home games. You couple that with the Ravens defense, that's allowed 37 points or more 4 times already this season. 25th in yards per play allowed. Listen to this. This is not the Baltimore defense we're used to, mainly due to the injuries at this point in the year. Third down defense, 28th in the league. Red zone defense, 26th in the league. 30th in quarterback pressure percentage. I think this is a game where Tua has all day to sit in the pocket. I think a lot of downfield throws, especially if Lamar Jackson plays. I think this total continues to climb. I'm on over 50. It's at 50.5 now. I would expect this one to get up to like 53, 54 throughout the week.
Cannot fault you, especially with what we've seen in the holes from the Ravens defense. So I think Tua and them keep the momentum going from that big win last week.
This is an interesting one. And then to start the Sunday slate, you got another couple of teams that are struggling on the defensive side of the ball. You've got Ryan's 4-3 Bears going up against the 3-5 Bengals. I don't think that the Bengals thought that they were going to have 3 wins without Joe Burrow all season long. This one opened at 1.5 to the Bears, still sitting right about there, total at 51.5. And Ryan, I'll default to you. I've got an opinion and a play on this one, but what say you about your Bears, who had a really tough one against the Lamar Jackson-less Ravens this weekend?
Yeah, they did have a very tough one against Lamar Jackson-less Ravens. They also were missing several key pieces on defense, allowing maybe somewhat of the Ravens offense to have somewhat of a passing game. But we're going to have a conversation with Chris Andrews later this week. I have a pretty broad or a macro question on the trust level, not just in the NFL, but in the NHL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, with the officiating in these games and how much we can trust. Not just the Bears game this last week, not just the Giants and the Eagles game, but this extends years back, how much we can actually trust these things that are going on. But in terms of this Bears Bengals game, this one opened at 51.5, is now up to 53. I think that is the correct move. I think we're going to see a ton of points in this game. Joe Flacco should be able to pick apart the Bears secondary. The Bears haven't really been able to win at the line of scrimmage the last couple of weeks, and their offense needs a bounce back spot, and this should be a pretty good one against a Bengals defense that isn't very good. So, Alex, do you have any thoughts here on the total at 53 or Bears minus 2.5 in Cincy?
Let me pull up I did update my NFL last night, but I didn't make this week's number. So I've got 24 and 28. So I'm right there.
52, yeah, because it opened. That's right in the middle of where that line moved. I like the over at 51.5. It's tough to play it at 53, especially. I think that one's going to continue to climb throughout the week.
I like the move though on the Bears, because how did the Bengals bounce back after that awful fourth quarter and losing to the Jets? I feel like that's kind of where you see it flip for this version of Joe Flacco right now. How do they start this one? So I think I like the Bears side in that one, though.
I kind of do, too. A couple of numbers that I saw that led me to like the early number on the total. I don't know how much I like it at 53. Bengals in their last 2 home games have scored 71 points. Flacco in those games thrown 5 touchdowns and no interceptions. Over has hit in every Bengals home game this year and 10 of their last 11 at Paycor Stadium. But on the flip side, Bears come in allowing just 19 points per game up until this last weekend. So you wonder which Bears defense you're going to be getting in this matchup. I lean over, not a play, especially because that line's going to continue to move. I think the Bears do get back on track this week.
Well, this past week was the first week the Bears had not scored over 21 in a game. So kind of thinking that if their offense is going to get a bounce back spot, the Bengals offense should be getting a bounce back spot. So yeah, the total moving now to 53 does look like it's heading in the right direction. But now we'll go to a different road favorite here with the Niners in New York taking on the Giants. Niners -3 now at the South Point, open -2.5. Totals 48.5. Stayed steady there.
Still a lot of question marks with the Niners, right? And we were worried about their defense and those big guys, those big names kind of showing up later on, right? They were fine without Bosa and Fred Warner at first, but last game against the Texans was a little concerning. I do think that's the right side. I'm worried about no Scattaboo here for the Giants, who was such a big part of that offense. So I didn't make my numbers yet. I don't have anything definite in this one. It's a tough one to handicap.
It is tough, especially with the Giants catching points at home. I think the one area where they will have an advantage is in the pass rush. Giants averaging 3 sacks per game. They've also generated 15 takeovers over the first 8 weeks of the season. So, about 2 takeovers a game or 2 takeaways a game, especially with Mac Jones starting to kind of go this way when he looked like he was going this way when he started. He's kind of regressing to the mean as Brock Purdy's health starts to come back into question as far as whether or not he's going to be able to play. I may lean Giants on this one. Keep an eye on kind of what the status of Mac Jones looks like as far as the individual matchups in this game. He's not mobile, as we know. I think the Giants are going to be in his face all day. Under 48.5, I kind of like. It's one of the lower totals of the week. Take that back. Actually, one of the higher totals. But I like under in that game. These two offenses struggling to score points. Again, a lean, but no play for me, mainly due to that pass rush that the Giants have been able to generate.
I love that under. Well, I'm pretty much at 46, so 2.5 point difference there. But it's got to be the way to look at it here.
Yeah.
I absolutely think so. With the injuries that the Giants have on offense, you're going to be missing a very large portion of you've already been without Malik Neighbors for weeks now. You're going to be without Cam Scadaboo.
Yeah.
That offense is solely going to run through Jackson Dart. And the Niners offense is banged up and really only runs through Christian McCaffrey at the moment. So this should be a defensive battle. I'm right there with you. My under that 48.5.
It's still sitting right at 48.5 here at South Point. But by the time we get off the air, that one might be loaded in the account.
Yeah.
We'll have to consult the whiteboards.
Definitely. Let's go to Matt's team here, who we have to start considering a real threat.
Yes, you do.
They are Patriots 5.5 point favorite at home against the Falcons, and we cannot trust the Atlanta Falcons right now, especially without Michael Penix Jr., especially on the road. So Patriots right now, has that one moved at all? No, open 5.5, sitting at 5.5, and total has not moved either.
I love it. Love the Patriots at 5.5.
Under a touchdown, right?
Yeah, open a little bit. Get it under a touchdown in this one. Patriots, hottest team in the league. How about it? 5 in a row. Drake May, MVP, outside looking in. I digress. I don't think he'll win MVP, but I think he's been the most improved quarterback in the league from last year to this year with everything that's kind of gone on around him. The only thing that troubles me in this game is that the Falcons have done a great job. We talk about bending but not breaking. They've broken but not bent, if that makes sense. They just don't allow big plays. And I think that's been where the Patriots have thrived over this winning streak, is those big-time plays. Falcons have allowed only 11 plays of 20 or more yards this year. That's the least in the NFL. So that's really the only area that gives me some pause. 45 is one of the lowest totals in the league this week, so there's not a lot of points expected in this game, although I do think Drake May keeps it out. I think the Patriots win. I could see this one finishing like 27-10. I think they win comfortably, but go under. Maybe a 27-17, but that's still under right there. 44, yeah.
Well, 27-10 would be 3 consecutive weeks of the Falcons only putting up 10 points.
And
so
is it going to be
fitting.
Penix this week? Is he?
That is a question.
Yeah, we don't know.
Get it early. If you're going to get the Patriots, my fandom aside, I think if you're going to get the Patriots, get them early. This is a line that could swell to a touchdown or more.
I like it.
Ryan, maybe Matt figured something out with Chris Andrews' efficiency there, because he's got the Falcons pretty high. They're top 10 offense and defense efficiency-wise. He hasn't told us the metrics that he's following, but defensively, they are not giving up the big plays.
Yeah, and it's so funny. You hear bend but don't break that often. I don't think you hear the opposite. There's a reason you don't hear the alternate of break but don't bend, because it doesn't result in winning a lot of football games typically.
No, but I mean, just what's the word? Don't give up the big plays.
Exactly.
That's really what you're trying to say, right?
Drake May, big play maven this year. How about this one? I think this is going to be my favorite game of the week. One that I'm going to be keeping the closest eye on is the 7-1 Colts, best record in the NFL, heading to Pittsburgh, taking on the 4-3 Steelers. We saw Aaron Rodgers kind of start to wake up, so to speak, kind of looking like old Aaron Rodgers and leading the Steelers to a win last week. And ho-hum, the Steelers above 500. The Mike Tomlin special after last week. That one opened Indy -3.5, a total just under 50 at 49.5. Seeing here at South Point, it is now -3 with Indy on the road. 50.5 is the total. That's the total that keeps going up. Indianapolis Jones, how about it? I think that Danny Dimes, we had this discussion last week, the comeback player of the year. What did he come back from? Playing under Brian Daboll in that Giants offense. I don't think that is the spirit of the award, but he's going to win it. This is an intriguing matchup overall, and I think that this could be, it's not a stretch to say, a potential AFC playoff matchup between the Colts, who are the most surprising team in the NFL by record, led by the former UNLV Rebel Shane Steichen, and the Steelers, who are doing exactly what we thought they'd do, and that's be right around 500 at this point of the year.
I would have it a little bit higher here with the Colts. I am a believer, though, and it's not just Daniel Jones, but it's Jonathan Taylor and Pittman and Pierce and Tyler Warren, who's should be in the conversation for offensive rookie. But, yeah, it's tough to trust the Steelers right now, Ryan. I mean, after that game, I thought it was a great spot getting points against Green Bay, but lost that one by 10.
We saw Jordan Love, though. Jordan Love really starting to emerge as the best quarterback in that division.
His best game,
maybe in the NFC.
Yeah, but maybe the Steelers defense isn't what we think it, or have gotten accustomed to it being in the last, or under Mike Tomlin. But for this game, so the total opened 49.5 is up to 50.5 now, and it opened Colts minus 3.5, now down to 3, which I think is a false move. I think the Colts absolutely run the Steelers out of the building in this one. The Colts in the celebration of their win on Sunday. Normally, you get a victory Monday, you get Monday off, you only have to go into the building for recovery and all that kind of stuff. The Colts aren't happy at 7-1. The Colts were in the building on Monday, getting ready for this game, knowing that it was a tough opponent in a Mike Tomlin-led team. The Colts want to run teams over. Jonathan Taylor should absolutely have an argument to win league MVP. The Colts are going to run the Steelers out of their own building. Colts minus 3. Right now, immediately.
I would love minus 2.5, though. If it already moved from 3.5, are they going to take the 3? I guess they didn't against Green Bay, so.
At the moment, public money is over 90% on the Colts.
Wow.
So I really think that move from 3.5 to 3, in my mind, was false. And we're going to see it go up to 4, maybe a 5.
Well, and this game could also underscore the difference between money versus tickets. I think that's one thing that you definitely have to take a look at in terms of the line moves, and with the NFL especially. I think the NFL is the one league where I really pay attention to the line moves when it comes to tickets versus money. When you see a lot of tickets, that's your average Joes. That's guys like me walking up to the book and throwing my $20 5-team favorite parlay. When you see the money moving a line, that's when I really pay attention, because those are the sharps, especially at an old school place like South Point where they take action like that.
All right. Well, okay, so now we'll go to the aforementioned Packers, hosting the 4-4 Panthers. Packers double-digit favorite here, minus 12.5 now at the South Point, open 12, so laying it with the Packers. Open 45, but now down to 44.5.
Still no Bryce Young, we assume?
Does it matter?
I think so. They were starting to turn the corner a little bit. I don't know.
This one's tough. This is one of 3 double-digit lines this week. I gave you the one last week, the 3-team teaser, Jets, Giants, and Duck Bears. All dogs, get them all to big numbers. I would kind of go the opposite this way. I take a look at all 3 big-time favorites, teasing them down a little bit, because I think that the Packers roll. You've also got the Chargers as a 10-point favorite on the road against the Titans. I don't like that one as much. And then the Rams laying 2 touchdowns at home against the Saints. Those are 3 that I would maybe consider the opposite teaser this week.
Well, I will say the Titans, this is the lowest power-rated NFL team I've had since I've started, I think. It's been pretty brutal. I'll have to go back and compare, but it feels like such a big gap that I don't remember seeing that in the years past with Tennessee. And Chargers look like they turned the corner, getting Joe Alt back, right, against the Minnesota Vikings. But let's talk about the Minnesota Vikings up next here, taking on the Lions. I just think we had too high of expectations for Minnesota to repeat what they did last year, and has not been easy. Now we don't have Carson Wentz either. So who is the starting quarterback here? Because he did have to have surgery. Lions, 8.5-point favorite. Total 47.5. No movement, really. That's where it opened here.
Yeah, this is a stay away for me until we figure out just what the heck's going on at the quarterback position. I give all the credit in the world to Carson Wentz for going out there as it's been revealed, the last 2.5 weeks with a big-time shoulder injury, trying to put off surgery, trying to do whatever he can to really grind it out, because this is probably, I would say, his last NFL opportunity, especially to have any significant playing time. And, you could see the emotion on his face, and coaching malpractice by Kevin O'Connell to throw him out there and basically feed him to the wolves while you got the young bull ready to go in J.J. McCarthy waiting. The Lions, what are the Lions this year? We really don't know yet. They're a good team with a bad defense, as we've seen under Aaron Glenn, no matter where he's gone. I think this is going to be a game where the Lions' role is just going to be by how many. I could see this one, landing right about on the number. It opened at 8.5. This is a stay away for me until we get any kind of clarity on the quarterback.
Just a comment from JR wondering, Alex, do you have the Titans rated lower than your Bishop Gorman Gales?
Maybe at this point.
But getting back into this Vikings-Lions game, it's a really weird quarterback situation right now. J.J. McCarthy has been listed as questionable and has been listed on the injury report the last couple of weeks, but he's also been the emergency quarterback. So he's not even he was dressed but wasn't the backup last week. Carson Wentz gets hurt and Max Brosmer comes in. What is this situation right now going into a division game on the road? I'm right there with you, Matt. I think the Lions roll in this one easy, making a statement. This division is still theirs. The media wants to say the Packers are the best team in the NFC, and the Lions are wanting to say, hold up, wait a minute. We've been the division champs 2 years in a row. So, the Lions are going to make a statement in this one.
Great teaser leg right there.
I like that a lot.
Down to 2.5, getting under that 3.
I like that a lot. Yeah, especially if you can keep it under the 3. Next up, we got a game that is under 3 without a teaser, and it's an interesting matchup right now between two teams with great quarterback play between the Broncos and the Texans. This one in Houston over the weekend. Broncos at 6-2, the Texans at 3-4. C.J. Stroud might have had one of his better performances, not only of the season last week, but of his career. And this is an interesting line. Denver, 1.5-point favorite. The books don't think there's going to be any points scored in this one. It opened under 40 at 39.5. And just looking here at South Point right now, it is at 39.5. So no movement in this game. Both of these teams great to the under. Denver 5-3 to the under. Houston 4-2-1 to the under. That tells me it's going to go over. No, I think these two teams with great quarterback play and two teams that have been trending under, I kind of like going against that in a game indoors in the Dome in Houston.
It's true. I mean, we have seen over games from both of these teams. Not really the Texans, though, but now that we're seeing their offense kind of turn the corner, both just top 5 defenses.
Yeah.
Any metric you want to look at, both of these defenses, I think, are outstanding. So it's tough to go over for that.
If you get 24-17, that gets you there. And I don't think that's asking too much from these two teams where both quarterbacks have been ascending throughout the year, especially Bo Nix and C.J. Stroud, kind of peaking last week with his performance.
Man, I know how good Houston looked last week, but you got to look at the Broncos in this spot, getting even money. I mean, that defense is going to destroy that O-line in Houston.
I think if you're gonna play the Broncos, don't worry about the points. Just take the money line.
Take the money line.
Easily.
100 to win 100.
I'm absolutely right there with you. I think the Broncos, granted, it was against the Cowboys this past week, but how
bad are they?
In the last 5 quarters of football, the Broncos have shown you that they are absolutely big play capable, which is what you're going to need in order to get the over in this game, because the two defenses are absolutely stout. And so I agree with Alex. I think this is going to be a field day for the Broncos defense against that offensive line for the Texans, and tend to lean to the under, or agree with the number where it is just below 40. But again, it is the NFL and you're going to get athletes doing what they do. And so the big play potential is going to keep me off of the total. But I would can see it going over, as Matt does.
And I think if you're going to play that, you better get it soon, because the lines all trend up, especially on game day. So once this one gets over 40, you're not getting nearly the amount of value that you would otherwise.
Yeah, the public's going to drive it up, always, more often than not does, right before kickoff.
Absolutely.
But we'll go to one that has not had any move from the opener, and it is a double-digit favorite on the road. The Chargers in Tennessee taking on the Titans, -10. And that total is at 43.5. Again, neither of those have moved from the open.
It'll just be interesting if the Chargers can keep it going here, right? Because could see them slipping up a little bit, but I think that I do think with Joe Alt coming back, they are true contender in that division again.
Well, that's huge. And the Titans haven't been able to get any semblance of a pass rush this year. The offense has looked anemic, although they've got one of the most individually talented quarterbacks in the league. I really am high on Cam Ward, and he's got the desire and the passion that you like on the sideline without crossing over that line and being disrespectful. I think that there is a very fine line between caring a lot and being disrespectful to your coach and to your franchise. And Cam Ward, I think, toes that line perfectly for a rookie quarterback with plenty of skill. But they're just awful. And I mean, the coaching decision a couple of years ago to get rid of Mike Vrabel looks worse and worse every single game that they play and every single game that the Patriots win. They're terrible. The question is how mentally locked in are the Chargers going to have to be to cover double digits on the road?
Well, in the last couple of years, I was making the case that Tennessee's defense was still decent, right, and kind of a bend but don't break. You saw them give up yards, but not points. But that was probably just a little bit of a carryover from Vrabel's years. And then this year, it's just everything has fallen apart. Both sides of the football do not look good at all. But Ryan's got a point on that one.
Yeah, Matt, you had mentioned the Chargers being focused enough to cover double digits on the road. We have Halloween on Friday, and I'm seeing all over social media the Chargers are in their Halloween costumes doing parties in the weekend or these past few nights. Are they not taking this game seriously? Are they just looking at? Are they taking the Titans as the worst team in the NFL and they just need to win, don't need to cover? That would maybe a caution there.
Yeah, I agree.
There's something to be said about that, especially in Los Angeles. Quick sidebar. I remember seeing Blake Snell posting on his Instagram the day before the World Series started, like, oh, need a
2K?
fifth for 2K. Yeah. And people are like, he's not focused on the game. What do you want him to do? Sit in the closet and stare at the wall? He's sitting at his house playing video games. You're doing the same thing. I saw that and I was like, come on, people. Would you rather him be playing video games at home or out on the town with Madison Beer like Justin Herbert? I mean, I know which one I'd rather do, but I'm not a professional athlete. Big difference there.
Yeah, no, video games are fine. I think that is a pass.
I've been playing
there.
Skate 4 a lot recently. It's been my new one.
Let's go to a matchup here. Two teams coming off a bye week, a much-needed bye week for the Raiders. Back at home, getting 3 points against the Jaguars. Total 45.5. Matt, any thoughts? You're pretty close to the Raiders in the sports
Tyler
teams
Lockett.
here.
Tyler Lockett signing with his old buddy Pete Carroll. So what does that go to? I think it does tell you that the Raiders are willing to make roster moves that improve the team right now.
Well, I think it's more they're willing to trade Jacoby Myers.
I think so too, and that makes the Patriots look even worse. Everything comes back to the Patriots. That's the theme of this show. But I think it also shows that Pete Carroll, with he's 73 years old, oldest coach in the league. His window is finite. He's not building for the future. He wants to help win now. It's tough with the roster like they've got right now, and Geno Smith has not been at all what they have anticipated that he would be in terms of a veteran presence and a guy that would take care of the ball. Remember, this is a guy that's led the league in completion percentage on multiple occasions. He has not been that. Partially to blame is the O-line. Partially to blame is their Swiss cheese defense. Raiders are a really tough team to follow this year overall.
I think Ryan's just skipping that one.
Yeah, I'm.
The Jaguars. Jaguars do nothing for me.
For that one, I like what Liam Cohen's been doing with that offense. So in that one, it would be the Jags or pass.
Jags or nothing. Yeah, you got to lay 170 on the money line. If you have a little bit of extra bankroll, that might be the way to go. Close game between two teams.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm pretty surprised that it opened 44 up to 45.5. I mean, the Raiders have been a pretty good under team because as long as Max Crosby is healthy and playing, I mean, he's got that side playing tough, and with the offense struggling, had a lot of under games. And the Jags defense really good at takeaways. I don't know. I kind of lean to an under here.
I like that one under. This next one I like over. I actually really like the over in that Saints-Rams game. Doesn't matter who plays at quarterback for the Saints. We finally saw them bench Spencer Strider, maybe for good. Tyler mixing them up. Yeah, it's Rattler, not Spencer Strider. Hey, Spencer Strider's got the arms and the quads for it.
Absolutely.
And the mustache, but that's something else. Spencer Rattler, former South Carolina Gamecock there. Tyler Shuck getting the start. He's like 26, by the way. He's like one of the oldest rookies in the league. I don't think it matters. The Rams rolling right now. I think they continue to roll. I actually do. The more we look at this one like this as the teaser leg. It's Matty Stafford, 17 touchdowns and just 2 picks on the year. Rams 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games. Won 7 of the last 10 meetings between these two sides. Saints-Rams that opened at 13.5. This one in LA. Let's see. Is there a movement on this one at all? I don't believe so. It's up to 14 now. So this one's going to be tough. I'd include this one as a teaser leg or nothing. I think the Rams roll. 2 touchdowns is a lot to ask, even against the lowly Saints. Where do you in your power rankings have the Saints as compared to the Titans? I am curious to ask that.
Okay, I'll pull it up right now.
Because I think the Saints are awful.
The Saints are feisty, though. I mean, they're kind of hanging around in games, and I think they're well coached by Kellen Moore.
They're a team where you ask 5 different people, you get 5 different responses.
a whole 1 point above Tennessee.
Hey, 1 point.
So 32 and 31.
So they're with Gorman.
Yeah, the IMG Ascenders coming into town. Yeah, this is an interesting one. I don't know. Am I way off base with that teaser leg in this game?
No, definitely not. I actually have the Rams 4th right now.
And they're hot.
Tied for 3rd. They're coming up a bye week, too. Puka Nacua is healthy. The Rams are really good. I underestimated them coming into the year. So, yes, I would definitely think that's a good teaser leg there for the favorite.
I like that. Especially if it goes back down to 13.5. You can get it down to 7.5, or if you go 6.5 points in the tees, you get it down to 7. I like that. If you can get the Rams anywhere near a touchdown, 7 or under, I love that as a teaser leg.
All right, well, we'll move to probably the other big game, or the one involving the two teams that have dominated the AFC the last couple of years. The Chiefs, a road favorite, -1 in Buffalo. Total is 52. The recency in this one is we've seen the Bills win in the regular season and the Chiefs win in the postseason. The Chiefs haven't beat the Bills in the regular season since 2020, but it was in this spot in Buffalo. They are favored here, -1. Again, total of 52.
I know the Bills' defense does not look good, but I'm shocked that you're catching 1.5 with the Bills at home here. I mean, if anything, I would say this should be a pick. And I just told you I bumped the Chiefs up to number 1 in the power ratings, but I don't think that's that big of a difference.
No, man, this is a really fun matchup. And it's going to be that last one of the afternoon slate kind of by the whole fourth quarter. It's going to be a standalone game. And this is somehow these two teams are always pinned against each other in the regular season. I love that the NFL has done this with the scheduling. Is this the year that the Bills finally get over the hump in the postseason against the Chiefs? They've been able to beat them in the regular season, but that's not when it matters. And especially if you ask Bills fans, this one's tough. I think that this line's going to continue to swing to the roadside, and the Bills are going to be a bigger home dog. If you can get the Bills at plus money on the money line, that's kind of where I would start to think about taking out the home team on this one.
Yeah, wait till it gets to 2.5. Maybe we even see. I don't think we'll get to 3.
No, I don't think so either.
Maybe a point there. I'm surprised they didn't flex that one out.
Yeah, really.
But for the Sunday night game, we do have Washington at home. This would have been a great game. It could be a great game if we have Jaden Daniels, but as we mentioned earlier, it's quite a drop-off to Marcus Mariota. Seattle laying 3.5 on the road, total 46. I mean, the Seahawks are the real deal. They look good on both sides. So I think this number is correct here going into Sunday night, total 46 in that one.
Yeah, the fighting Darnolds. No play on this one for me yet. Got to see what the Jaden Daniels status is. I think if you don't think he's going to play, get this one early. If you think he's going to play, wait till later in the week and get a better number on the or actually, if you do think he's going to play, go ahead and take the commies now. I think that the Commanders early in the week, if you can get them above a touchdown in a primetime game, I love and have had success with primetime first half unders. I think that's my play regardless of the quarterback in this one. Love Sunday night first half unders. For whatever reason, the Sunday and Monday night games never get started until the second half. I blame NBC for having the worst theme song out of the big networks that covers the NFL, but that's a personal thing. But yeah, that number I think reigns true in this one. If you can get a good first half under number in this game, I like it a lot. I would imagine it'd be like 22 and a half, something like that.
What was last night between the Chiefs and
I think it
the
was
Commanders?
23?
Nah, first half. No, I don't mean what did the line close at. What was the
7.5.
7.5, right?
Yeah.
Prime time first half
quarter,
unders, I'm telling you.
7.5, yeah.
I've had
And
a lot of
Seattle's one of the top defenses too. So
I like that a lot.
Yep.
In this one. Last game of the week. It's two teams that are really, really underwhelming at this point. You've got Kyler Murray in his 7th year as a pro and 7th year starting for the Cardinals. They're taking on the Dallas Cowboys, who, despite the injuries, are still one of the most disappointing teams in the league. You got a 2-5 Arizona team against a 3-4-1 Cowboys team that just got their doors blown off against the Broncos last week. This one opened at 3 to the Cowboys, seeing 2.5 here at South Point. So actually, the Cowboys. The Cardinals catching some money. I don't know what to make of this one on a Monday night in primetime. This is another one that just screams first half under.
Well, I don't know. Dallas at home, I would lean that way for sure. I know the Broncos kind of owned them in that last matchup, but I do think that their offense can get going here against the Cardinals. It does look like Kyler Murray will return for this game, so Adam Scheffler actually had Lamar Jackson, J.J. McCarthy, and Kyler Murray are all expected to return. So, Ryan, anything for you in this one if Kyler Murray returns against Dak Prescott and company?
I almost said that it would make me want to go under. But no, getting the starting quarterbacks back and expecting these offenses to be at full potential would absolutely believe you to take in the over. And that's what we've seen. Open 53.5 now to 54. I think with that news that Kyler Murray will be playing, it will continue to go that way, but we might peak maybe with just one more point, maybe at 55. But with the side, I said it yesterday, I can't be putting money on bad teams.
What if it's two bad teams?
Weekend. Yeah, so this game's just going to be a stay off at that point. We'll watch Monday Night Football.
This one may be like a get back game if your Sunday goes bad. That's what the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors are for on Saturdays, and that's what Monday night is for in the NFL.
Yeah.
Well, we might be on some props in that one, looking
like
for CeeDee Lamb or
Absolutely.
George Pickens. Yeah, looking at some player props between those two. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we've got hockey to get to. A full slate. Jump in the chat here if you have any games you want us to go through, but we're going to hit as many as we can. We'll be right back on Sports by the Book.
Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Malulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the Colts here. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
Well, if you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Is there a way to bet against both teams?
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
All right, it is hockey time here. Sports by the Book, live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. We will have our City Lights Shine ticker trivia answer soon. We had 2 poll questions today. I'm going to throw it over to Ryan. Before we go through our hockey games, we will just kind of quickly go down the board if any of us like anything. But Ryan, first poll, you wanted to go through the results and then a question in the chat for us.
Yeah, so both pertain to baseball. Just getting back into that real quick before we wrap up with the Frozen Frenzy. So first poll question was which hitter will have another 2+ hit performance after last night's 2+ hit performance. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. plus 243, Shohei Ohtani plus 295, Teoscar Hernandez 297, and Alejandro Kirk at plus 252, all available via DraftKings. And the poll was pretty split between the big name guy. Well, I mean, they're kind of all big name guys. But Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Shohei Ohtani, and Teoscar Hernandez, all around 30%. But the computers say 32% went with Vlad Guerrero Jr., getting plus 243 for 2 or more hits tonight. And then we'll be getting a second poll in there for you in a little bit. But question from JR for you, Matt. Really asking, with everybody saying the Dodgers are ruining baseball, what do you feel? What are your thoughts there, considering JR also points out that the Dodgers have 6 guys in the top 24 payrolls of Major League Baseball?
Yeah, I mean, and I've got mixed opinions on this, and I know I could do a whole hour on this. Let's just put it that way. I will say there are teams that are doing worse things and having worse results, a.k.a. the Mets and Steve Cohen, spending all the money that he's got and not even making the playoffs. I think that is bad for baseball. I think you want your big market teams. You want to have the biggest television audience. And I think that the Dodgers with these deferred contracts, I think that's the main thing that people have the beef with is the deferred contract for Shohei Ohtani. And otherwise, my thinking is if it's above board, if the major league rules and the collective bargaining agreement allows it, What's stopping a guy from taking a contract like that? This is also such a unique instance with Shohei Ohtani specifically, and the fact that he does not care about the money, even though he's got more of it than anyone could ever, know what to do with. Until the new collective bargaining agreement happens in 2027, and I could do a whole show just on what I expect to happen in the legal proceedings there. It's above board. It's with the rules. I don't think anybody's ruining baseball. I think there are other teams that are struggling worse with just about the same payroll. And I don't think that it's fair to say that the Dodgers are ruining baseball when they're bringing in more money than they're spending every year. It'd be one thing if they just went all in, spent all the money, didn't worry about getting it back, blah, blah, blah. They made a profit this year just based on ticket sales alone. So I don't think the Dodgers are ruining baseball. I am fully biased. I do have the rooting interest of my dad getting the World Series ring if they end up pulling this one off this year for the second year in a row. All that being said, I don't think the Dodgers are ruining baseball, but don't take it from me. I think you got to wait till this collective bargaining agreement in 2027, see what they do there. It's going to be a bloodbath. Get your baseball in, get your fix in 2026. There may be a work stoppage in 27.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, with that, how long do you think a lockout, if there will be one, in 27?
God, there is no telling, especially with how hard-headed Tony Clark and the Players Union have been in these discussions, rightfully so, but there's going to be so many sweeping changes that Rob Manfred and the league are going to try to push through more so than they already have. It's going to be a bloodbath. The money's going to be the top thing, and I would expect there to be no spring training. Maybe a month. I don't know. I'm not the right person to ask about this. I went to 5 years of school, and it's because I was too dumb to get done in 4. Other people go to school for 10 years, and they're called lawyers and doctors. But that being said, I think that there is nary a doubt that no spring training will happen in 27. I would expect some regular season games to be missed, unless a miracle comes through.
I absolutely agree, and I think we could miss a good chunk of the season in 27. The deferment is my biggest thing, but I also, with the negotiations being in 27 and Shohei's contract going to 37, there's not really any changes that they are going to be able to make to that contract. So I think that's going to prolong the conflict in negotiation. I'm not necessarily worried, but we're going to miss a big chunk of 27.
I'm very worried as somebody who makes their full-time living in baseball.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Oh, man.
Well, we're going to switch over to some hockey now because we do have a lot of games to get to. And Ryan and I, we're both like Pittsburgh yesterday. We're going to start with that first game. This is quite the rivalry we have kicking off with the Penguins and the Flyers, Ryan. Back-to-back, though, here for Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Keystone rivalry. Flyers favorite at home, -155. Totals at 6 with juice to the over.
I like under, if anything. I think the Penguins in the second game of a back-to-back, typically you would give the edge to the other side, especially with the Guinos playing on the road. But this is a big rivalry, especially for someone who's lived in Pittsburgh and seen a lot of these games in person between the Flyers and the Penguins. This is a legitimate rivalry, no matter who's on the ice for both sides. I think defensively, these teams have both been great, both allowing under 2.8 goals per game on average. I like under in this one. I like under in a lot of rivalry games on the ice. And I like the Penguins. Granted, I am a fan of the Penguins, but at plus money in the second end of a back-to-back, I like it. This one's on ESPN, so you can watch the on-ice carnage, so to speak, in this one. There's going to be a lot of fights. I
mean, Ryan and I talked about it yesterday. With hockey, it's like baseball. You want to be with the streaks here, and Pittsburgh is playing really good. And even though they are in a back-to-back, 4-1 on the road this year.
6-2-1 overall?
7-2-1 now.
Wow. After yesterday. So I lean that way too. I think there's some value getting that plus price, but I like the Penguins.
I think we'll be seeing goals in that one. So I know rivalry. Probably should have gone back and looked at recent matchups, but this is their first game of the year. This one, but I would be looking at the over.
Two-way action
in Philly. Yeah,
there we go, Vinny. Let's go.
But for now, we'll go over to the border for the next one. -170. No. -175 are the Maple Leafs against the Sorry Flames. Totals 5.5 with 125 to the over.
I'll take this one first because I like the over in this one. Not really sure why we're getting a 5.5. Anthony Stolarz, the goalie for the Maple Leafs, 3.31 goals against and an .885 save percentage so far on the year. 2-4-1 record. And then Dustin Wolf on the other side. It's been a struggle for him, and we've talked about it a lot. 337 goals against average and an .886 save percentage. I think we're going to get goals from both sides here. Calgary, now they have struggled to score, so So that could be why this is so low. But Toronto 8th right now, and they are 28th in giving up goals. So give me over 5.5.
This is one of just 3 games on the board as well that opened at 5.5 as well. So you're actually getting a really good value on that number.
I like the puck. I like the puck line. I think I played it 4 or 5 times now, going against the Flames on the puck line.
Yeah.
And we'll be doing it here with the Maple Leafs.
Getting plus 155 there.
Wow.
Matt, I believe you like one in this one. These two teams played last week. Knights on the road in Carolina. Knights road underdog plus 125. Totals at 6 flat.
Yeah, and the money's actually been going to Carolina at home, and I tend to agree with them. You know, it's interesting, and I love telling the stories from when I worked behind the book at the Westgate selling tickets. I learned a lot about betting, as you do in that kind of a job, but I learned a lot about betting in Las Vegas, specifically at an old school joint like the Westgate or like the South Point. When it comes to the Golden Knights, you're getting an inflated number on the opponent every single night, all puns aside. Especially as it gets closer to the game, you're going to get those random Joe Blows coming into town. They get a couple of drinks in them, and they're like, hey, I want some action. Let's go to we're going to watch the Knights game of the book. Let's just bet on the Knights. So I would love, when I worked behind the counter and would get off my shift before the Knights game started, you basically just wait until right before the game starts and take the opponent in a lot of instances, especially in a game like this where Carolina is the favorite. You're actually going to get a better number than you typically would, not only in that game, but anywhere else in the country. You usually get a somewhat inflated number on the Golden Knights. It makes it tough to bet on them when you do like them, but it makes it a little bit more juicy when they're a dog and you want to fade them like I will tonight. Give me the Hurricanes. I think they've got one of the best home ice advantages in the league. It's also about 15 minutes away from where my mom lives, so I've been to plenty of games there. It's a cool arena, and the Hurricanes are one of the best teams. One of those teams you don't hear a ton about in the national landscape as far as a Stanley Cup contender year in and year out, but that's where they've been over these last 3-4 seasons, especially.
Unless you're me and you pick them the last 2 years and they fall short.
That's why you're you, because you're ahead of the curve.
I mean, they just can't get over. They can't get over that hump, though.
They always start hot, though. In the middle of the season, they are outstanding.
They're a great regular season team, yeah. They really are. And they definitely have the goalie advantage here because we don't have Aiden Hill going for VGK, but they have Frederick Anderson and definitely the goalie advantage. So this is this their first home game, Ryan? Sorry if I'm putting you on the spot. I know they were just on a nice West Coast trip because they played VGK, lost in that one.
The Canes?
Yeah, they played Colorado. Now they're back home, so...
Let me make sure.
They had to have played one at home so far.
Another one at home?
Yeah, this isn't their first home game. They're 2-0 at home, but you're saying back off the road trip?
Correct, yeah.
Yes, it is their first game back off the road trip.
So that's big as well.
Yeah, nice spot. Definitely.
Yeah, they're home for till Thursday. They got Vegas and then the Islanders next.
My whiteboard is getting full tonight.
We'll
need a bigger whiteboard.
I know.
We'll go to Buffalo in one that's priced pretty evenly, minus 115 for the Sabres at home. Total 6.5 with juice to the under.
One for me here in this one, and jump in if either of you guys like anything in these games that I highlighted. But I like the Sabres in this one. They've now won 4 at home. You got Alex Lyon between the pipes compared to Jet Greaves on the other side for the Blue Jackets. So backup goalie for them. I think they got the better goalie, and I like the way that Buffalo's been playing. Young team, and I like getting them at home at a plus price here. So I'm going to add the Sabres to my list as well.
I like it. Yeah, I don't really have many other NHL plays outside of those two. That's an interesting matchup, though. The Sabres are one of those teams. Like, what are they at this point of the year?
Right. I
definitely think that the Sabres, we've seen in the games past that they have the offensive potential, and we've it's been spotty from Columbus the last few nights. So with the juice to the under, wouldn't necessarily fault you on taking the over, but granted, you do need 7 in that one. So maybe just to stay off there.
A lot to ask.
Yeah. But now we'll go to South Florida. The Ducks getting in the water, taking on the Panthers. Panthers minus 175 at home. That one is also 6.5 with heavier juice to the under.
I think that number is correct here. It looks like it is not. Bobrovsky, is that correct? We got backup goalies here, and that would make a lot of sense of why we're seeing a 6.5 in this one between these two. So stay off for me. Florida, a little disappointing to start the year, but they are 500, 5-5. They're better at home, 4-1. So I think they are warranted to be a pretty big favorite, but I'm not ready to lay that price. Nothing for me. I don't know about you two with that one.
I leaned the Ducks in that one. I think that they will have some potential to pull off the upset there just because of how Florida's been struggling recently. But again, you just pointed out the Panthers have been very strong at home. And so getting back off that road trip could be a get-right spot for them.
No goalie Bob, though. So that helps as well, right?
Yeah.
I would double-check that, though. Make sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that could be why the total's at 6.5.
Yeah.
Needing a lot there to get the over. Do we want to go to Boston?
I don't have anything on Boston and the Islanders. Do you?
I do not. It is a road favorite there. The Islanders minus 145. So if you like the Bruins, getting a plus price there, plus 125 for the home team.
Of course, playing on
Bruins, but
back-to-back.
nothing, yeah.
And lost last night with Swayman, so do have their backup goalie going too. But
Okay. Well, I mean, we've got the full slate loaded up there for you guys. So if you got any requests, let us know before we get out of here. We'll jump down to Capitals at Stars. Dallas minus 130 at home. Total is 6 with juice to the under.
lean to Dallas there. I think that's a pretty cheap price because I know the Stars have been struggling to start the year, but I mean the Caps have had their spots too. Been a little streaky. They are 3-0 on the road, though, so I'm going to stay off the side. I love this under 6 for me. 2 of my favorite goalies to back with Logan Thompson and a 1.5 goals against, a 938 save percentage, and Ottinger on the other side. Not his best numbers, but still barely below that 900 save percentage. So I like under 6 here. I think it could be 5.5 at some shops. So getting some value there.
If you want to go against Alex, you think there's a lot of goals in this game, you think Dallas is able to win this game handily, you're getting almost 2-1 on the puck line. You know, not quite two-way action. And I'm not saying to go against Alex, but if you think that Dallas is going to win by 2, you're getting almost 2-1. It's that or bust for me in this game, and that's without a full handicap like Alex has. So definitely lean her opinion over mine, but that's just a fun pizza money bet if you want to try it.
Hey, if you're going to go against me, at least go. I mean, really go for it. Go Caps reverse puck line there to win by 2. Let's see what price you're getting with that. Because Dallas, I don't know. They haven't been beating teams by a lot. But one more for me. Brian, do you have any more?
Well, I think the one that excuse me. Yes, I do have one more in the next game. We'll go up to Chicago.
Yes.
The Senators on a back-to-back. I am wearing the jersey today. The Senators have scored 14 goals in their last 2 games. Their offense has scored 14 goals in their last 2 games. So the Senators obviously are able to put the puck in the back of the net, but it will be the 2 starting goaltenders, the 2 goalie A's for these 2 teams, Spencer Knight in the net for the Hawks and Linus Ullmark in net for the Senators. But the juice, or the total, is 5.5 with minus 125 to the over. I love the over. I absolutely think we're getting 6 here. But I also love the Hawks on the money line. Competitive home team, getting plus 120, and we'll actually be splitting it, taking the puck line, getting the goal and a half, and then the plus 120. So
I can't fault you there. It would be a lean to the over, too. I just think that number is wrong. I think it should be a 6. But Ryan did mention, and I got to be careful. Andrew and I are now checking like 3 different sites for our goalies because I had Omar going yesterday from RotoWire. Sorry to call you out, RotoWire. But they saved him for tonight. And to Ryan's point, Spencer Knight has been awesome. But I do think we'll see some goals here. So I'm with you there.
I love it. Hey, all 32 teams in action. Grand Salami, 97.5 is what it opened at.
Yeah, it got action to the over, up to 98.5 now. So
no one's betting under on the Grand Salami, right?
No.
Not tonight.
Love it. Every team in action right after the Sports Equinox as well. Even the MLS played yesterday.
Right.
I mean, yesterday was the professional Equinox. Today we still technically have an Equinox with college football going. So
love it.
Can find a way to get 4 sports in action on a parlay.
College basketball starting as well as some exhibition games. It is just continuing to add to this Equinox.
Nice.
You have one tonight, actually.
Yeah, UNLV takes on the Oaklanders of Lincoln College. Should be a fun one tonight at the Thomas and Mack Center. 7 o'clock tip-off. Myself and Curtis Terry on the TV call on the Mountain West Network, themw.com/watch. If you want to see UNLV get their final tune-up game in before the opener next Tuesday against UT Martin.
Very good. 7 o'clock.
Should be fun.
Pacific time, yeah.
I'll be there.
One more for me, but just want to mention, Ryan, Devils Avalanche, fantastic game because New Jersey coming into this one on a nice 8-game winning streak. So one of the hottest teams, and the Avs really they only have one loss in regulation. 5-1-4 on the year. So really good game between them, but nothing for me betting wise in that one.
That regulation loss was also on the road. So our second poll question today was pertaining to first regulation home loss this season. So 4 teams have yet to lose at home in regulation in the NHL. The Canes have an opportunity to lose against the Knights. They are favored, -145. The Avalanche, as Alex just mentioned, against the Devils, -150. The Oilers, also -150 against the Mammoth, who have not lost since debuting Tusky as their mascot. And then the Kraken, the only underdog of the options, getting +105 at home against the Canadiens.
I don't hate that. I kind of like the Kraken.
I like Utah Mammoth. Wait, what? We're going against the home team, right?
Going against the home team.
Yes.
Yep.
How can you go against
So
Tusky,
you're not
though?
going against. You're not.
No, I'm
against-
going with the Kraken.
Yeah, you're going with the Kraken.
I
I'm
think
going
the
against the
Kraken's the dogs.
Oilers.
Yeah.
I guess. Because Utah's been playing really good.
I'm still laughing at the mascot.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about it is that the NHL just keeps zooming in on the mascot's eyes, posting so it started, I think, 5-0-0, and then 6-0-0, and then 7-0, and just continuously zooming in on
That's
Tusky's
terrifying.
eyes. It's pretty funny.
So you're getting +130 here.
I mean, how can you go against Tusky?
Exactly. So that's kind of handicap
That's
we
great.
needed, Ryan.
You're welcome.
To end the show. Yes.
Oh, God.
Awesome. Well, we've got today's ticker trivia presented by City Light Shine. It was a basketball themed question for you, being that we are less than a week out from the start of the college basketball season, 1 week out from UNLV's opener. But on this date in sports history, October 28th, 1973, Los Angeles Lakers center Elmore Smith recorded 17 blocks in a 111-98 victory over the Portland Trailblazers, establishing the most blocks in a single game in a single NBA game by a player to date. What is the team record for most blocks in a single game to date? And that was recorded in 2001, towards the end of the year. March 23rd, the Toronto Raptors blocked the Atlanta Hawks on 23 shots. In a 112-86 win. It was the 5th time in league history in which a team has gotten over 20 blocks in a single game. Can't wait to see the Spurs join this list when Wemby does it by himself.
I love that.
Very good. Did we get any right answers? Did anybody jump in the chat?
Not quite, but we did have a very active chat today. Jern, let's hope the Hawks never have to change their name. Is one of the best, absolutely one of the best uniforms in all of sports. And then a very active chat today. Shout out to Attila, JR, Tulip Plays, Drew
Well,
Dog.
if you took the over
Wave.
for an hour and a half of our show, you're about to cash
Yep.
in just 8 seconds.
Something
so
about
we'll
the
keep
Tuesdays.
it
It's a
going.
good bet every Tuesday.
Yes.
That's what I'm here for.
Last but not least, our whiteboard plays, right?
Yep.
We got the
My
whiteboard
board is
plays.
loaded.
Mine's
now,
full
Matt,
today.
So
I went light last week. I am chock full today. You want me to go with mine?
Yes,
All right, so
kick
it's
us
my
off.
3 for tonight, 2 for the NFL weekend. I've got James Madison, Texas State, under the 56. We talked about that, the defensive advantage for James Madison in that one. I got the Dodgers run line, -1.5 at even money, and then give me the Hurricanes at -145. Told you my liking on that one. Ravens, Dolphins over 50.5. Get that one early. And the Patriots at -5.5 as well. I think that's a line that's going to swell to a touchdown as the weekend gets closer.
very good. Even gave us some Thursday and Sunday. He's got us covered for the whole week. All right. I'll jump in next, and then we'll have Ryan close it out for us. But I am taking a dog here with Texas State at home, getting 7 points for my college football play. I'm going over in the Dodgers and the Jays game, over 8. And then I've got actually 5 hockey. So I like an over 5.5 here with the Flames and the Toronto Maple Leafs. I like under with Washington and Dallas. We're going under 6. And then 3 dogs I like. Small bets here, but I'll probably just do a little round robin with the Sabres, the Canucks at home, and the red-hot Utah Mammoth team. Those are my 3 underdogs, getting nice plus money there.
All right. Well, I'll put together another slight Equinox play for you guys today. I haven't actually calculated out what it would be, but we'll at least let you know what it is. I'll also go Texas State, keeping it close, plus the points, plus the 6.5 here at the South Point, or 7 now at South Point. And then in the NBA, we'll take a shot and go with the latest game on the day. Going with the Warriors as a home underdog against the Clippers, getting 2 points there. I'll take them on the money line outright. So Texas State at home, Warriors at home. I will also go back to the Blue Jays, getting the plus 180, get a little inflated price there. And then we'll go with the Blackhawks, another plus price, 120. So give me a second and we'll calculate that out for you.
Ryan is all in. Ryan, just take Texas State on the money line too.
Ryan's firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's go.
you know what? We'll go for it.
All the homer plays.
Why not?
All the homer plays. I don't think he has ties.
Hey, yesterday was a rooting
Texas
interest day
State.
and it almost paid off. But
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost only counts.
I was just about to say the same thing.
I had a teacher. It almost only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and nuclear warfare. You just got to get close.
Don't forget our over in our hits too. I definitely love that one.
Yep,
Here at
over
the South
15 and a
Point,
half
over
in
15
that
and
World
a
Series
half.
game tonight.
While he calculates that, I will check in again with the chat, but we appreciate everybody. Matt, thank you. I'll tune in if I get the Mountain West channel.
Yeah, it's just themw.com/watch if you want to watch it online.
Okay. Watch it online. I do want to see how they look. Maybe a sneaky team in the Mountain West
I think
because
so.
some teams that will be down, New Mexico, but we know SDSU is still up there.
Yeah. And they're the perennial favorite, San Diego State. Preseason favorite, Miles Bird, preseason player of the year. He's a guy who could have left for the NBA but decided to stay. Steve Dutcher basically kept his entire starting 5. San Diego State's going to be really good.
Okay.
Grand Canyon added to the conference this year. Really excited to go check out that atmosphere in Phoenix. It's one of the best in the country. I could see UNLV finishing in the top 4 in the conference with their athleticism and range defensively especially.
Okay, that's what I was kind of thinking too.
Yeah, they got
Maybe
some big time bodies on the defensive side of the ball.
But projected a lot lower, like 6 or 7,
Yeah,
right?
I had them 4th in my preseason ballot. I will throw that out there.
Well, we know 2 years ago when everybody had UNLV last and somebody had them the top, that was football, but it was Matt Everett here. He does know his UNLV Rebels.
If nothing else. I see, they switched right behind me. There we go.
If nothing else. Ryan, you got your dog parlay or round robin?
Yeah, so if we actually go Texas State on the money line, upsetting JMU, getting plus 220 there. We go with the Warriors on the money line, getting plus 110 there. The Blue Jays getting the upset, plus 180 there. And the Blackhawks upset on a home ice, getting plus 120 there. Here at the South Point, 40-1. Woo! So 15 getting back 620. So
sounds like a cash to me.
we're having a fun night tonight.
I mean, that you got at least a little pizza money on that one.
That's a heck of a pizza.
Yeah, yes, it is. Well, thank you, everybody. We appreciate you sticking around with us for an hour and a half. If you're watching the replay, thank you as well. Please tell everybody about our show, Sports by the Book, and have them follow our YouTube channel there. Follow our social media, Sports by the Book and Sports by the Book LV. Thank you to the crew. We appreciate you. Sorry we're a little bit over. For Matt Everett, Ryan McCormick, I'm Alex White. We'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. here on Sports by the Book. Good luck to everybody. Cash some tickets.